Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today we can finally talk about some Warlock Hero Talents coming in the War Within. Earlier today, the Diabolist Destruction Demonology Hybrid Hero Talents were revealed for Warlock, and I have to say, without spoiling too much, I think they're actually pretty good. There are some interesting takes on certain things. Some abilities change based on different procs and all that, but we'll break it all down, get into it, give you my thoughts on it, and I guess just maybe I just try and explain what it might mean for Warlock heading to War Within. Now, keep in mind there are 3 different hero talent, I guess, sub-talent categories, whatever. This is 1 out of 3, Demo and Destro. We haven't seen either AF, like AF, Demo, AF, Destro yet, but hopefully in the next week or so, maybe we'll see more. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so like I said, just getting right on into it, here is Diabolist Demonology / Destruction Warlock Talents for War Within, at least like early on iterations and all that. Now, I'll say off the bat, we haven't even gotten alpha yet. Chances are very high these will change a good bit. You'll see when we go down the tree here a bit. Some probably need some tuning, but overall, the idea and the premise is pretty cool. I like it a lot. A bit of flavor text up here talking about the Legion having demons unbound after, Legion happened, all that stuff, twisting other big demons running around. Now, I'll say off the bat before we get into it, reading through this tree, you're going to think it has more of a demonology, a subliminal demonology feel than Destro feel. But keep in mind, these abilities, unless they indicate Demo and Destro in the same node, work for Destro just like they do demonology, right? The final capstone talent we'll get to in a minute here works for Destro as well as, demonology, even though it sort of is a Demo ability right now. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But keep in mind, this is both for Demo and Destro. Now, we haven't seen Soul Harvester yet. The AF Demo hybrid talent build. We have not seen Hellcaller yet either, Destro AF. I'm really pumped to see what AF has. I'm sort of crossing my fingers hoping that maybe they didn't unveil AF stuff because, maybe there's a change to UA spender coming. But either way, I'm okay with Rapture too. We'll see where it goes and go from there. So, getting into it, there are 10 options here, 3, 6, 9, and 10. There's one up here for 11 total, but you get this ability when you sort of just spec into this tree being Diabolist, right? So, this ability here, Diabolist Ritual. So this is very similar. It's similar to what Demonology has currently with its tier bonus in Doombrand. Now, you're not spreading Diabolic Rituals or anything. Don't worry about that. Spending a Soul Shard grants Diabolic Ritual for 20 seconds. While the ritual is active, each Soul Shard spent reduces the cooldown by 1 second. It is not another portal whenever you spend shards. It is based off each Soul Shard spent. Now, when Ritual expires, you gain Demonic Art, causing your next ability to cost Soul Shards to summon an Overlord, Mother of Chaos, or Pit Lord. So 3 different pets here that unleashes a devastating attack against your enemies. It sounds like they attack one time and leave. We'll see. Possibly. I don't know. We'll go from there. So it sort of works how Doombrand does, where I'm assuming it reads like it's a buff on you, the player. And whenever you cast spells that consume soul shards, for each shard consumed, it reduces the duration of the buff on you by 1 second. When it runs out, it spawns one of these pets. So there's no weaving of Demo Bolts and Doom brands like we have currently with Demo Tier bonus, but it doesn't reduce the duration of it, the buff on you, presumably, and all that. You might be asking, what is an Overlord? What is Mother of Chaos? What is a Pit Lord? I assume an Overlord is likely like Fellord Zakuun from Hellfire Citadel. I would assume a Mother of Chaos is Coven of Shivara from Antorus, and a Pit Lord, well, I know the Pit Lord. So next we're going down here, we have Cloven Souls, Touch of Rancora, Mother of Chaos, and Demon Fire Barrage. Starting over here, Cloven Souls, enemies damaged by your Overlord. So this is corresponding to right here, Overlord. Overlord, Mother of Chaos, and Pit Lord have their souls cloven, increasing damage taken by you and your pets by 10% for 20 seconds. So whenever you summon an Overlord from your ritual proccing, it gives you a 10% damage increase to you and your pets, I guess, on that target. Now, I don't know. It says enemies, like plural, damaged by the Overlord. So maybe he has an ability that cleaves and hits them with the ability, and it just cleaves them all like Felsunder does, and makes them take increased damage. But the buff is not a buff on you, the 10% buff. It is a debuff, I would assume, on the mobs that the Overlord hits. So keep that in mind. Not a big deal, but still something. Pretty interesting there. Touch of Rancora, the middle row here. Diabolic Ritual. Let me zoom in a bit more here. Diabolic Ritual increases the damage of your next ability that costs soul shards by 30% and reduces its cast time by 50%. So this sort of reminds me a bit of Madness of the Azakir. But there's no weaving of Touching of Rancor, there's no maintaining the buff, there's no like weird madness duration. It's, whenever you have Touch of Rancora, which, also to clarify here, this procs off every single ritual proc. It's not just the Overlord or just the Mother of Chaos or Pit Lord. It is anything. I'm assuming it's any pet that procs. It says Diabolic Ritual. I assume whenever it procs, it grants you this, right? So for Destro, you're looking at Rain of Fire, Shadow Burn, probably never happening, or Chaos Bolt. Now, if you're an AoE and it procs, you're spamming Rain of Fire. It has no cast time either way. It is what it is. But for Chaos Bolt, in single target and raid encounters, barring casting Rain of Fire, you're likely just going to be casting Chaos Bolts pretty much all the time anyways. This is a 30% increase to Chaos Bolt and a reduction of its cast time by 50%. That's a lot, both cast time reduction and damage increase. Now, it makes me curious how they're going to tune Chaos Bolt. If this is the case. Hopefully it's not under-tuned and like maybe, just tuned properly with this proccing, but we'll see where it goes. For Demonology, things are a little bit more interesting. So does this affect Felguard? Grimoire Felguard. Does it affect Vile Fiend? Does it affect dogs? Does it affect one imp or all 3 imps from Hand of Gul'dan and 3 shards? We don't know. Does it affect Nether Portal? If it's still around, which it is still around, spoilers ahead, down below here in a minute. And if it does, is it every pet from the portal or one pet? How does it work? We don't know. Now, I would assume buffing Grimoire Felguard is your best option for Demonology if it doesn't affect, Portal or anything crazy, but we'll see where it goes. But this is like a universally applicable ability for both Demo and Destro. Works for both builds. Likely, it's just solid all around, honestly. Works with any ritual proc from what it seems like. Pretty solid. Mother of Chaos. Mother of Chaos empowers your next Shadow Bolt or Incinerate to become Demon Fire Barrage. Now, this is one of the abilities I'm a little iffy on. It sounds cool. I'm down for it. I'm going to test it out, but gotta see. Channel a barrage of 4 Shadow Bolts at 150% effectiveness towards the enemy target over 1.5 seconds. So, my biggest concern here, and this could be like maybe just me being old or booming or whatever, I don't know. I spam my abilities, my Incinerates, my Shadow Bolts, whatever, when I'm casting them. If I'm spamming Incinerate and this procs, and I start channeling an ability like Channel Demon Fire or whatever, I might just interrupt that cast by just like, subliminally spamming Incinerate. You know what I mean? Like, I'm semi-worried I'm not going to notice the cast here, like the proc of Mother of Chaos, and just be spamming Incinerate or Shadow Bolt, and I'm casting a channeled ability, and I canceled it by mistake because I'm spamming Incinerate or Shadow Bolt. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It could just be a passive proc that comes out of you, and they use the word channel as like a thematic, flavorful kind of thing. I don't know. It could just be this procs, and you launch Shadow Bolts out of you while casting Incinerates or whatever. I don't know. Not sure. Probably not. We'll see where it goes. Big question here as well. Do the Shadow Bolts generate resources for destruction or for Demonology? I doubt it gives you 4 shards for Demo. Probably doesn't give you any at all. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to want that resource generation too for Demonology and Destro for both when I'm casting Shadow Bolt, right? When I'm trying to build a Tyrant or whatever. So if it doesn't generate resources, they likely need to figure out some way to factor in resource gen, because without it, it might make things a little awkward. But we will see where that goes. Moving on from there into the second row here for Diabolist, we have a couple utility abilities and one interesting DPS one in the middle here. So coming out of Cloven Souls, we have Soul Etched Circles and Anilian's Bellow. You always gain the max benefit, the benefit of Soul Burn when casting Demonic Circle Teleport, increasing movement speed by 50% and making you immune to snares and roots for 6 seconds. Anilian's Bellow, Howl of Terror cooldown reduced by 15 seconds and range increased by 5. It's cool always getting the benefit from Circle. I'm not going to cast Howl a whole lot in PvE, maybe like Mythic Plus at certain weeks or whatever. Probably a PvP thing, probably a PvP node in general. I wish Anilian's Bellow, Splat brought us up actually when I was talking to him, gave you instant cast Demonic Gateway. Like Soulburn Gateway. Why not Soulburn Circle or Soulburn Circle or Soulburn Gateway in one or the other, right? That'd probably be a bit more relevant. While having the speed increase is good for Circle, and the snare is good obviously on fights like Tindrall, Broodkeeper, Back End Vault. There haven't been, in some dungeons too here and there, you can use it at times. I don't use Circle a crazy amount, a whole lot to break snares or get a speed increase. Sometimes when I Circle, I don't even move for a little while, right? I just sit there and, I move that I'm the ability I'm dodging, and I just sit there and cast, right? So I'm a little curious. My throat's killing me. I'm sorry today, guys. I'm curious if this is going to like stay the way that it is. It's cool to have around. It feels a bit niche. And this is also only in the Diabolist tree for hero talents. I don't think it would be in Soul Harvester or Hellcaller, right? So a little interesting. See where it goes. I don't know. It's utility, I guess. Sure. It's whatever to me. So we'll go over here and come to this last. Infernal Vitality and Infernal Bulwark. So when I read Infernal Vitality to everybody, Ending Resolve heals you for 30% of your max health over 10 seconds. People were like, this is insane. This is crazy. I don't think it's that good. Infernal Bulwark. Ending Resolve grants Soul Leech equal to 10% of your maximum health and increases the max amount of Soul Leech you can absorb by 10% for 8 seconds. So you have a baseline, I believe, 15% Soul Leech. This would be 25 if you pop Wall with Infernal Bulwark. Now, when I'm using a defensive, it is to negate incoming damage, pre-planned incoming damage, right? Whether it's, X, Y, Z ability, right? Infernal Bulwark will give you 10% additional Soul Leech, like potential, right? And on top of that, it grants you that 10% shield when you use it. So it's a minor shield, like a little miniature Dark Pact. Little, don't get me wrong, it's not a big pact or a big shield, but it's something on top of Ending Resolve's DR value, right? Damage reduction. Now, Vitality giving you a heal, it's not like unplayable. Might be certain spots where you want to play it. If you break this down, this is basically 3% per second, which is not very impactful. And like, not saying it's in an arrogant way or anything, but I mean, I don't know how to word this, but like, when I'm in a raid setting or whatever, and we're using defensives, we have defensive assigned, in phase 1 of Fire Act, for example, for the final drop soak set, right? I'm going to defensive that and do my part as a DPS or a healer or a tank or whatever, to negate incoming damage, to make healers' jobs easier, to then have the healers top me off after that, healing, right? Comparatively to negating a bit less damage and healing myself, which is probably irrelevant or semi-irrelevant because, like, I want to be healer the way by the healer or in the group of the raid or whatever have you, right? Now, there could be certain spots where you want Vitality, maybe in plus with no healers, like a meme, obviously. Certain spots you might want it. Probably good in PvP. I don't know. I don't PvP a whole lot, but Bulwark, I think, is secretly a good bit stronger than Vitality, because it's a minor shield, larger Soul Leech potential, with Wall being, it's a small shield and Wall together, and when in the end I'm hitting my resolve because I want to negate incoming damage. I don't care about healing myself afterwards, so hopefully somebody else will, right? Within reason. So the middle one here, this is the one DPS, I guess DPS based node. This is where it gets interesting. So Cruelty of Curzan, I think, right? Nether Portal. I saw the word and I facepalmed. I know. We don't know what it's about. I don't know. I have some hunches. I don't know. By the way, Nether Portal, Tyrant, and Infernal grant Diabolic Ritual and reduce its duration by 3 seconds. Keep in mind, this is Ritual, right? Now, the big question here, number one, does Diabolic Ritual, can you have multiple iterations of it active on you at once? Does it stack, basically? Because, like, the only way to get Ritual is spending soul shards. And I would assume you can't get more than one by just spending soul shards. It's just like, it's going to work how Doombrand is in single target. But keep in mind, this is a buff on the player. And the way this is worded makes me think that maybe you can actually have 2 or even 3 active at times if you're Demonology, due to Cruelty of Curzan, right? And it makes it a baseline 17-second duration. Now, I'm assuming Portal is still Demonology-based. Tyrant is Demonology-based, and Infernal is Sestro-based. Now, this sort of drops a couple clues to me. Number one, Portal could be a bit of a far-out guess here. Portal could be part of the class tree. Maybe you just pop Portal from your class tree. It works for Demo and Destro alike, and just does damage. No shard spending, no weirdness, no tyrant stuff, whatever. Just, hey, pop it. Demons come out. It's cool, whatever. Maybe that works. Maybe Portal's a universally applicable ability for both Destro and Demo hero alike. So, both specs can get, the general ability and then pop its own cooldown on Tyrant or Infernal. Or, more than likely possibility, Portal and Tyrant might share a choice node, like one or the other node, right? Which is quite possible, giving Destro and Demo probably like one option for Cruelty as well. But the question still is then, does it stack? Can you have 2 Diabolic Rituals active at once? If that's the case, you can likely get 2 pets to be active at once. Now, I'm going to skip to a different page here briefly. You might be thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of RNG to this because, like, your Overlord gives you a damage increase to you and your pets, which is better for Demo than it is Destro. This gives you Demon Fire Barrage, whereas the Pit Lord's coming up. But what happens if you high roll, the best pet over and over? Well, there was clarification earlier. So, Diabolic Ritual is cyclical, starting with the Overlord, ending with the Pit Lord. So when you summon a demon, it will always be in order of Overlord, then Mother of Chaos, then Pit Lord, and then Ritual again. We'll go back to the Overlord. My voice is shot today. I'm sorry, guys. There is no RNG to this. The same way every time. Barring shard refunds and all that stuff, right? But it's the same way every time. Same pet order every time, which is cool to see. The one below it here. So, I mean, you could have like 2 pets or even 3 pets active at once from rituals if it works out that way. We'll see. I don't know. The one below it, Infernal Machine. Your soul shard spending abilities decrease the duration of Diabolic Ritual by 1 additional second, while your Tyrant, Portal, or Infernal are active. Tyrant and Portal are both 15 seconds. Infernal's half a minute. Destra spends shards not as fast as Demo does, but Destra has half minute Infernal versus Demo having 15-second Tyrant or Portal. So I think Cruelty's likely better, but I don't know. Keep in mind, this says Soul Shard spending abilities. This does not indicate Soul Shard spent. This here, each Soul Shard spent. This here, Soul Shard spending abilities. So if it was per shard spent, yeah, it'd probably be pretty good. But I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's just, hey, cast a 3-star Handy Gul'dan, 1 second off. So we'll see what happens, see where it goes. But I'm curious to see where this is at with ritual stacking, possibly, and go from there. Now, the next row here is the final triple row. DPS abilities. On the left, Flames of Zoroth, fire damage increased by 2%, and damage dealt by your demons increased by 2% as well. This is likely a tuning knob in case this tree is too good or too bad, turn up and down. I don't know. I mean, it's just there. Might replace it. Flames of Zoroth used to be an older ability that would summon your pet back if it died instantly. Might change. They probably change the name. Might be a placeholder. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Gloom of Nathriza. Hand of Gul'dan deals 15% increased damage for each soul shard spent. So 45 max. That's relevant. Hand of Gul'dan splash damage and AoE, even a single target. It's not irrelevant. That's a bit of damage. Sort of bland, I guess, in a sense, but I don't hate it. It's there, I guess. Sort of a tuning knob, I suppose, as well. Destruction. This one likely needs some buffs. Probably both this, and I eventually guess this as well will be buffed, but we'll see. Enemies marked by your Havoc take 5% increased damage from your single target spells. So this is Odir, Cloak of the Ymir from Legion and from Shadowlands. The Cloak was 25%. Now, the Cloak was worth using in single target if you had it, but it wasn't your best option. 5% is not much. You'll take it in the end if you're cleaving against Destro. I don't know if it's worth pressing in single target if you're in like a CD window. It probably is, but like it's awkward hitting Havoc in single target for a 5% increase. Let's see what happens. They might mess with it. It might just change or overhaul it. I don't know. It's sort of finicky, but we'll see where it goes. The cool one here, Abyssal Dominion. Grimoire, Felguard, and Cataclysm gain additional effects. Number 1, this either means that Cataclysm and Grimoire Felguard are baseline, not in the clash tree or spec tree, baseline, or they're, I'll use the word forcing, but I mean like, or you have to select either Grimoire Felguard or Cataclysm in your spec tree for Demon Destro alike. Now, number 2, I venture to guess there's a very high chance that Kata either moves, well, probably moves in the clash tree, but I doubt that it shares a choice node with Inferno anymore, because there's no chance they'd force you into taking Cataclysm to enable your hero talents while it's paired with Inferno. So I think chances are high Kata's either baseline or you're getting it as a standalone node in the clash tree, or spec tree, and go from there. Now, if Grand Warlock's design for Demonology is still around in War Within, Grimoire Felguard being a minute and a half, sort of the same spot we're in now. It doesn't sync very well. We'll see what happens. It might not be around. Maybe you don't play it. Maybe you do. I don't know, but that's worth pointing out. Currently, it goes, I mean, you're playing 2-minute build. If you're playing Grand Warlock's design, they go like, big tyrant with Grimoire, small tyrant without, big tyrant, small tyrant, so on and so forth. Now, currently your Grimoire is 17 seconds. This will make it 20 seconds and have that, perfect tyrant sync. The destruction part of it, though, is very cool. I like this one a lot. Casting Cataclysm summons an Overfiend. So, Overfiend is not an Overlord. 2 different things here. I thought this would actually proc Cloven Souls. It does not. Sad to see, but still Overfiend. That casts Chaos Bolt 2 times at 80% effectiveness before departing. So it likely means Chaos Bolt's still your Spender's Destro because it's referring to Chaos Bolt at 80% effectiveness, probably referencing your own Chaos Bolts. The big thing here, though, this ability is cool. I like it a lot. It makes Kata even more relevant in single target. It's already cast in single target and all that. It's cool to see. It'll be an awesome ability to cast every half a minute. I think it'd be really, really cool, thematically, flavor-wise, to make it cast Chaos Bolt on targets affected by your Immolate. So Kata applies up to 8 Immolates. Now, it couldn't be 8 full-size Chaos Bolts or 8 80% Chaos Bolts. It probably have to scale up and down in damage based on the number of Immolates active, the number of Chaos Bolts it's cleaving. Sort of how Shadow Bolt Volley does compared to Shadow Bolt, whatever it is. How Doombrand is now in retail, where it hits more in single target and lesser in AoE, but it's still AoEs. Imagine having that, like having a Cataclysm go off every half a minute, a Doomguard spawns and cast 8 Chaos Bolts on your Immolate targets. Maybe for 25% effectiveness, down from 80 in like single target, but it'd be so cool to see. That would be incredible. Probably one of the coolest cooldowns in the game. That'd be so cool. Even without that, though, very cool to see. It might give shards, it might not. I don't know. I gotta test with it and see where it goes, but thematically, I think it's awesome. Sounds really cool. Very, very cool. So, the final ability here, those are wondering where the Pit Lord is at. Pit Lord, he is down here. Ruination. Summoning a Pit Lord causes your next Hand of Gul'dan or Chaos Bolt to become Ruination. Calls down a demon-infested meteor from the depths of the Twisting Nether, dealing chaos damage on impact to all enemies within 8 yards of a target, and summoning 3 wild imps. I'm picturing some big, like, green fell demonic meteor landing and 3 imps spawn. Now, this is basically Hand of Gul'dan. Being honest, it is. But this works for both Demonology and Destruction. So Destro will have wild imps. Now, not like the amount Demonology does. We have, an army out, but Destro will have wild imps if you play, Diabolist and have Ruination active, right? I'd assume they function the same way as Demonology does. They come down, do damage, and expire. A lot of this depends on how strong the actual, meteor is when it lands, but this sounds cool. I'm down for it. It's interesting. I do think that when it comes to overall, the Pit Lord ability versus the Mother of Chaos ability versus the Cloven Souls ability, it's likely, it might be Cloven Souls being the strongest depending on how this turns out tuning wise. It's likely Cloven, Overlord followed by Pit Lord, and then probably Mother of Chaos being worst, best to worst, but we'll see where it goes. Once again, the orange, well, there is no RNG with this. They've clarified that they're going to cycle, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that is that. Now, the one big thing we talked about on stream a lot today as well was that people kept mentioning this tree feels a lot like it's built around Demonology and Destro's here as a side project, right? Keep in mind, this is Diabolist. We haven't seen Hellcaller, which is Destro and AF. This tree can have the same feeling, being more Destro-based, less AF-based. This can be more AF-based, less Demo-based. We don't know. But I think a lot of that is due to the subliminal feel of what Diabolic Ritual is, how it's similar to Doombrand. Having it summon a Pit Lord is literally Demonology right now, so there's more subliminal Demonology feels. An Overlord, Mother of Chaos, an Overlord being probably a Doomguard, which we have now for Demonology as well. A lot of the abilities here do feel Demonology-esque, but they work for Destro all the same. This works for Destro all the same, albeit you spend shards slower than Demo, but Cloven Soul is probably better for Demo as well, because pet damage increase and but this is Destro. This is Destro. This is Destro. This works for Destro in both ways, right? Flames of Zoroth is both pet damage and fire damage for Destro. I don't know if it works for Chaos Bolt or not. We'll see where that goes. Even over here, it's both Demo and Destro, right? But it might have that thematic feel, because once again, even though it's Demo or Destro, it still summons a Doomguard that, launches some Chaos Bolts. So, and obviously the final one being a Pit Lord that casts a Hand of Gul'dan. So, there's definitely Destro vibes here. I'm excited to test it out. It looks really cool. I like it. I'm curious about how this is going to work with the channeled abilities, if it's actually channeled or not. I think this probably needs buffs, and this maybe needs some buffs too, or just some retooling. We'll see where it goes. But overall, without seeing it or playing it firsthand, I'd give this tree probably an 8 out of 10. And when we get an alpha, whether I'm in the first wave or in general, whenever I get in, we'll test it out. We'll see where it goes. But Diabolist, I am happy with how it is. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully you had any questions about Diabolist or wanted to talk about it, or I guess to see how it looks. Just answer those questions for you. I have to admit, I like it. Like I said, I think it's very clever how they find a way to work Diabolic Ritual as your main, I guess, early cap, top tier node. How they worked it into the tree so well. How it flows with Cloven Soul or Cloven Souls, how it flows in Mother of Chaos, the Pit Lord in the end, how they all sort of just like formulate, or I guess work well together. It's pretty cool. It comes together well, and honestly, it sounds like it'll play pretty well too, as far as in-game play goes. We'll see. Hopefully within the next few weeks before thing coming out, an alpha, I would venture to guess within a month's time or so, we will know more. Like always, if you guys want any week course add-ons that I use, links to Twitch and Discord down below are for free for you guys. At the same time, we're in the video. A huge shout out to my patrons for supporting on Patreon, especially right now with the game being so slow. And guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here as well as down below in the video description. And yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. I don't want to skew too far from like Demo Destro because I really want to see what Hellcaller and Soul Harvester are. The AF Demo and AF Destro builds, right? I didn't expect to be as excited as I was today, just seeing Diabolist. Like, oh, this would be cool, see what it is. But like this, the way you can like play Ritual, Diabolist Ritual, and the way it rotates around and stuff, it's gonna change the way both, if you play this hero talent selection, the way Demo and Destro play in single target and AoE and all around. It's building upon an already good toolkit for Demo, in-stat cleave, single target, and all that. And Destro, honestly, I mean, we'll see where it goes if we get some changes or not. But even without that, like, it looks pretty strong. Looks pretty cool. And I'm excited. Hopefully those hints at Kata being baseline are true. If not, at least give it a standalone node. And we'll see where it goes. Oh, please change the Overfiend to Volley Chaos Bolts. Really cool. Yeah. So, all that being said, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.